Yeah. So, Isaac, so you host the Change Africa podcast, right?
Yes.
Tell my audience about it. Uh, why a podcast in the first place? Uh, the focus, focus is on Africa, on changing Africa. What do you discuss on the podcast? Do you have guests? Tell us about it. Tell us about it as much as possible.
So I like to say that fundamentally I'm a conversationalist, and I like exploring ideas. I like argument. Many people have a very different perception of what argument is. They think that to say that you like arguments means that you are a rabble rouser, you like to cause chaos. But fundamentally, argument is the foundation of thinking. If you're going to take a decision, you argue with yourself first before you even take it. This is like, if you can't argue, you can't think. That's what my perspective of life is.
I agree with you.
I always want to be thinking, and that involves arguing. Like if you go to a philosophy class, the process of thinking is all argumentation. They teach you those foundations and those thought pieces. And so
logic.
I am that person. Yeah, I'm one person who can say that I like that process of engaging myself in reasoning and thought. And you can't do that alone. It is more successful when you have other people who you can think with, who you can ask questions with. So I say that doing a podcast is an extension of that argumentative, conversationalist self of mine. And I am interested in knowing people, knowing their thoughts, knowing their opinions, and knowing how they have succeeded in solving problems, because that is what education is, right? If you go back to the stats of civilization as we know of it, the people who built the foundation of thoughts and reason, the Socrates, Aristotle, they were not in institutionalized academies like schools that we had right now, like not in the form that we see it, right? They were in sort of mentorship groups where this person stayed under the wings of that person, and they talked with them. Even if you are a Christian, for example, you can see that what we see in the Bible as Jesus and his disciple and fellowship is basically one person and a bunch of people following him and asking questions. So if we think about it that way, what we are doing is just more than some people just talking. It's really an education that we're given, at least if you are intentful about it that way. And so that's how I think about that. And that's what the podcast seems to do, right? To educate people through the basic framework of conversations. And why Africa? Obviously, because I'm very passionate about it. And I feel like we are blessed in a continent that has a lot of resources. Obviously, has its challenges. And so we have to find ways of doing that. My perspective on the conversation on Africa is, do we have people who have already succeeded in doing some things? And how do we tell their stories? And how do we move away from just the hero play game, but actually go into the insight of their lives, the decisions they make, how they think about the current problems that we have, what they are doing about it, what is happening in those frameworks, what can we do better, and kind of dissect the fields and industries they are and bring that to the fore. So that is what the podcast really is about. So it's a 1 hour conversation style podcast with myself and my co-host Daniel, and we bring guests on the podcast across the intersection of business, leadership, culture, arts, and we just dissect their thinking, their mindset, and how they are contributing to the growth of Africa.
Wow. Isaac, I see me smiling. I love what you just told me. You say, yes. One of the things a lot of us don't like is a debate. Okay. A lot of us do not like a debate. And following my many debates, I found out that people think a debate is about one group shouting at the other group and the other group shouting back. No, that's not a debate. No, debate is you telling your side of an issue and the other tell their own side of the issue to help you come up with a common understanding of the issue. And because of that misinterpretation of what a debate is, we are not taking advantage of our knowledge, our common knowledge. Exactly. Because many of us are so don't even want a debate. Okay. See, I like the fact that you are very interested in doing this. And I think it's something we need to help young people to understand that this is fundamental to the development of Africa. Because, like you said, argument with yourself helps you to clarify your own thoughts.
Exactly.
Okay. And for me, I do a lot of debate with myself, a lot. And in the last 10 years, there's so many positions in life that I have today that are totally different 10 years ago. Okay. But I was fortunate to have time on my hand to stay alone in my room for a long time, for so many years, debating so many issues with myself. And now I'm out and I want to debate those same issues with other people.
Exactly.
So what you're doing is fantastic. And I think we need to bring other people to the forum. You know, unfortunately, yes, after we talk to ourselves, we also need to get more information from people who know more on this matter. And many of them have written books. So we need to read those books to update our own knowledge and then re-debate the issue with ourselves and then debate those issues with other people. Now, unfortunately, we as Africans, we don't read.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I think you bring up a very good point about reading. Because I always say this, that to have any kind of success in life, I fundamentally think that there are three things that you need to be good at. You need to be able to read, you need to be able to speak well, and you need to be able to write well. And all of those three things, they build the foundations of thought. Like you just said, reading allows you to accumulate knowledge.
Yeah,
that has been passed on over time.
Yeah.
And other people's worldview thoughts.
Yeah.
So reading can be a medium of travel, for example.
Exactly.
For a very long time before I traveled, right, I knew a lot of things about different parts of the world because I was actively engaged in the frameworks and the thoughts and thinking of other people that are in different places. So travel, not even in the geographical sense, but in a lot of different ways. Right, you get to travel in the thought space of other people, which is a very beautiful experience. Then thinking coming to the ability to write, because when you are writing, right, one of the things that writing is, it's a very interesting thing about writing is that writing gives you the pause.
Yeah.
It gives you the pause to be able to gather your thoughts. And so, for example, if you're somebody who writes, you realize that you don't go as fast in writing as you would in your normal thoughts. That is you pausing to see what is happening here. And even if you took time to rush through it, when you are reading it again, you get to re-argue with yourself and you see that. And so it's a very, very important skill. And then obviously it comes to the ability to communicate those things that you have read and written to other people, which it comes in speaking. So I think that anybody who's listening to it, if like there were 3 things that you could do in life, I think that's the thing. You need to be able to be an avid reader, be someone who can write well and speak well. And I found that most people who can do those things, they generally have a certain level of success in life.
Yeah. So these 3 things: reading, writing, and was it the third one? Speaking. Are things we need to encourage our people to do, starting with self-taught, okay?
Exactly.
Okay, and then follow that up with gathering more information, because to me there is nothing new under the sun. Okay, so anything you want to delve into, somebody somewhere has delved into it before, and all you need to do is to find those people, find their books, pick up the book, read the books. Hey, it makes things a lot easier. Okay, so we need to encourage our young people to read, and when we read, then the argumentation will be more structured, because you're
not coming from ignorant places.
Exactly. Your arguments, you refer to this person says this person says this. I agree with this. I don't agree with this, and this is why. Okay. So I've seen that unfortunately, people who don't read, when they debate with people who do, they get angry. They get angry because the other person can speak their mind and then back it up with this person, that person, that person. And then the other side has only me. Okay. Now, we like we said earlier, the foundation of, for me, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the foundation of our development is on the path of knowledge, education.
You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong.
Okay.
Exactly. I don't think you're wrong. What I'd like to say to that is that we just need to rethink what education is. Again, it has nothing to do with school. It has nothing to do with going to get a degree. That's what people get wrong. Yeah. So when you think about education, people are like, you are thinking of a degree. No, you're not thinking about a degree. Education is something that you do every day in your life. With every single knowledge that you have. Think about it this way. Everything that you see in the world is you building a set of frameworks, experiences that will add to your knowledge and your worldview. And there are 2 types of those things. There are things that you are consciously aware of, things that you're unconsciously aware of. They are all affecting you at the same time. The education is what you do with those things. Like you have the tools to select, to say that this one is trash and I'm allowing this one in. And then using that to do something. I think that's the education. Then if we reframe the mindset of people so that they can view this as the education that they need, it's better than what we have come to know as like go to school, get a degree and all of that.
Yeah, very, very good. Very good.